Were you born from karma? Welcome back, everyone, to Mind Podcast. Have you ever wondered who you are, how you came to this life, what your past life was like, where everything began, and whether people can change their destiny by changing their behavior to alter the cause and effect relationships? And what is liberation, really? Let's keep a relaxed mind as we begin today's video. According to Buddhist teachings, sentient beings are neither annihilated nor eternal, but continue to cycle through birth and death, a process called reincarnation. In Chinese, reincarnation, luan hoi, breaks down as luan meaning wheel and hoi meaning return. The image of a spinning wheel is used to depict the constant movement of each sentient being across the 6 realms, sometimes reincarnating in one realm, other times in another, in an unending cycle of life and death, like a wheel that keeps turning. If we accept the law of cause and effect, we cannot deny reincarnation, for reincarnation is simply an ongoing sequence of cause and effect. The wheel of reincarnation spins on this circle, which has no starting point and no ending point, continuing in the endless cycle of birth and death, filled with suffering, until one attains enlightenment and liberation. The concept of life and death in Buddhism is based on reincarnation. The death of the human body is not the end. There is something called the soul that will continue to reincarnate. Even animals and other forms of life undergo reincarnation, constantly living and dying. In reality, you cannot determine what kind of person you will be in your next life. It depends on your karma and the merit or misdeeds from your past life. The root of reincarnation lies in the law of cause and effect. The Buddhist concept of karma and reincarnation is not a simple, linear theory. Instead, it involves highly complex causes and conditions. This includes teaching people how to properly understand destiny and practice in a way that can shape their fate. The following story is a clear illustration. There was a famous sacred well in a temple in Sipan, sealed with a wooden cover. The well water was clear all year round, and when standing at its edge, one could see both one's past and present. One day, an old wealthy man in the village, old Wong, heard of this and became very curious. He wanted to go investigate the truth of this story. After arriving at the temple, old Wong carefully performed a ritual for the bodhisattva and met with the abbot to explain his purpose. I want to go to the well to see who I was in my past life. The old monk led him to the well, knelt down, unlocked, and opened the well cover. Old Wong calmly looked into the clear water and saw an elderly man with white hair reflected on the water's surface. The man was dressed in ragged clothes, carrying a plank on his shoulder, walking toward a shabby, leaky cottage. Old Wong hesitated, asking doubtfully, "Is this really my past life?" The old monk nodded, confirming that old Wong's previous life had been that of a lonely, impoverished old man. Near his rundown cottage, there was a stream without a bridge, and people could only cross it by taking off their shoes and wading through, which was inconvenient. The old man wanted to contribute in a small way to help others, so each morning he would carry a plank to build a bridge for the villagers. He continued doing this every day for many years, always caring for and helping others with various tasks. Due to the merit he had accumulated directly, the old man was reborn as a wealthy man in his current life. Old Wong was overjoyed upon hearing this. He hadn't expected that such a small act in his past life would bring him so much fortune in this one. Inspired, he immediately came up with a new idea. He wanted to replicate his past life's deeds by building another bridge to serve the people and accumulate more merit for himself. He spent 300 taels of silver to hire a team of skilled workers to build a stone bridge. The best stonemasons in the village were summoned, and the old Wong ordered them to complete the bridge as quickly as possible. It should be noted that building a bridge entirely from stone was extremely complex. Even the most skilled stonemasons faced many difficulties. However, old Wong was a landlord with considerable power in the area, and the workers were compelled to complete the bridge as he demanded. During construction, additional costs inevitably arose. The workers quickly used up the 300 taels of silver given by old Wong. When the money ran out, they approached him for more funding. Known as the stingiest landlord in the area, he told them he wouldn't give a single extra penny and threatened to punish them and their families if they did not finish the bridge quickly. Terrified, the stonemasons returned home, selling all their belongings to fund the bridge's completion. After great effort, the bridge was finally finished. Old Wong celebrated by hanging lanterns and flowers, and even slaughtered pigs and sheep for the feast. Then he went to the temple to perform a ritual, eagerly going to the well to see how brilliant his next life would be. But what he saw in the well shocked him. It was a thin, tailless ox reflected in the water. Old Wong couldn't accept this and questioned the old monk, asking what had happened. The monk sighed and slowly explained, "It seems that you did a similar act in your previous life. However, in that life, you gave everything selflessly, without expecting anything in return. But now your good deed wasn't from the heart, it was for personal gain. Moreover, your actions caused the stonemasons to lose all their possessions. So, do you think you were doing good or bad?" the monk asked. He continued, "If you recognize your mistake and repent now, you can still make amends." Upon hearing this, Old Wong quickly went back to find the stonemasons, helping them repurchase their property. After completing this, he returned to the well. This time, the ox in the well had grown a tail. Astonished, Old Wong couldn't keep calm and questioned the monk again, saying, "What does this mean? I spent hundreds of taels of silver just to buy a tail?" The monk answered in a calm and profound tone, "Don't underestimate this small tail. It's very useful. It can swat away flies and scratch itches." Through this story, I believe you can understand the message the author intended to convey. From this, we can see that true charity must come from the heart, from compassion, not to serve some ulterior motive. Every wrongful action becomes a seed of karma that directly influences the cycles of cause and effect and reincarnation. Karma obstacle is a term derived from karma and obstacle. Here, karma means action or the creation of karma, and depending on each case, karma obstacle signifies intent. Good intentions create good karma, and evil intentions create bad karma. An intention that serves all sentient beings is a good intention, resulting in good karma. An intention solely for oneself is a bad intention, leading to bad karma. Our intentions create thoughts, known as mental karma. When we produce sounds and words, that is verbal karma. Our bodily actions lead to deeds, called physical karma. Therefore, in general, karma is generated from our own thoughts, words, and action. Which is how karma is created. Karma that arises and has consequences brings obstacles in the future. The term obstacles refers to external factors that hinder and cause us to create negative karma. Although obstacles appear to come later, they must exist first for people to act and create karma. Thus, the essence of karmic obstacles begins with ignorance. Ignorance meaning a lack of understanding. Here, ignorance does not refer to human intellect or knowledge. Rather, it signifies mistaken views about the nature of reality. Many Buddhist teachings highlight that ignorance originates within us, as even ordinary people possess desires and attachments such as greed, anger, delusion, arrogance, and doubt. With ordinary human vision, it is difficult to see the true nature of things. Broadly speaking, ignorance may be either unconscious or deliberate. Knowing something is wrong, yet being unable to overcome one's selfishness and continuing to act wrongly is intentional. On the other hand, acting out of lack of awareness and being manipulated for personal gain due to ignorance is unintended. Because of ignorance, we create many karmic obstacles that bind us to the cycle of reincarnation. All these actions occur in our present lives and leave imprints on the ocean of our consciousness, impacting the seeds in our mental consciousness positively or negatively. For example, if you harm or hurt someone, even if they do not seek revenge, you will still face consequences in the future for the actions you committed. As we say, you reap what you sow. A comforting word you say may inspire someone on the brink of suicide to find hope in life again, while a hurtful word can cause someone lifelong pain and remorse. Even if you do not act physically, merely harboring malicious thoughts can also create karma. At times, when you think poorly of someone, you might believe they will never know your thoughts, and thus, it does not affect them. But that is not the case. It still creates karma. For example, if you always view a coworker unfavorably, interpreting all his actions negatively, and then someone in the office loses a phone, you might suspect him of theft. Or if one day your company requires overtime and this person offers to buy food for everyone, you might doubt his goodwill, assuming he has hidden motives. This is karma you create yourself. For this reason, devout Buddhists pay close attention to their thoughts to nurture positive thoughts and prevent harmful ones from arising. Only in this way can a person's heart be purified, refined, and freed. Some people deny the law of karma because, in reality, they have witnessed many cases of injustice, questioning why good people often endure so much suffering while some bad individuals enjoy glory and wealth. In fact, this is a very good question. But think more deeply. We cannot view this issue from the usual logical perspective. Sometimes, everything happening around you is not as you think because you are still under the veil of ignorance. Let's look at the following story to understand better. During the Northern Song dynasty, there was a young man whose legs were crippled. His parents had passed away, and he lived a lonely, difficult life, relying on charity and alms from his neighbors. There was a river in front of the village where he lived, with no bridge across it. Villagers and passers-by who wanted to cross had to wade through it, which was inconvenient, especially when the river was flooded, making it impassable. Year after year, no one wanted to change this situation, but this young man started gathering stones along the river every day. Curious, people asked him why he was piling up stones by the river. He replied, "I am collecting stones to build a bridge." People laughed and dismissed him, thinking it was almost impossible. But he kept gathering stones every day, year after year, until he had gathered a large mound resembling a hill. Eventually, his neighbors were moved by his spirit and began to join in, collecting stones and helping build the bridge. The neighbors even invited craftsmen to start constructing the stone bridge. Just as the bridge was nearing completion, the young man lost his sight while gathering stones. Everyone felt sad and blamed heaven for its unfairness, as he could not even see the fruit of his labor, despite all the effort he put into it. Yet the young man did not complain. He continued to do everything he could each day to help complete the dream bridge. With everyone's collaborative efforts, the bridge was finally built. As they celebrated with joy, a sudden heavy rainstorm hit. Amid the deafening thunder, they discovered the poor man had been struck by lightning and had tragically fallen to his death. Everyone mourned his suffering and cursed the blind heavens. At that moment, a famous magistrate of that era, Bao Zheng, happened to be inspecting the area. After hearing the story, he too was moved by the young man's story and pitied his fate. Bao Zheng then scribbled 6 words on the ground, "Doing evil outweighs doing good," and left. After returning to the capital, the emperor summoned Bao Zheng to hear his report on the inspection tour. Bao Zheng reported all the events from the journey, but he chose to omit one detail: the 6 words, "Doing evil outweighs doing good," thinking it might not be appropriate to disclose it to the emperor. A few days later, the empress gave birth to a young prince. Although the baby was very cute, he cried incessantly, so the emperor once again summoned Bao Zheng to investigate if there was anything wrong with the young prince. When Bao Zheng first saw the prince, he noticed words written on the prince's pale white hand. Upon closer inspection, he saw the words, "Doing evil outweighs doing good." Bao Zheng was extremely shocked because those were the exact words he had written during his inspection tour. Bao Zheng quickly reached out to erase the words from the prince's hand, and the words instantly disappeared without a trace. Strangely, the 6 words on the prince's hand appeared to Bao Zheng, but to the emperor and others around, it looked like nothing more than a birthmark. The emperor saw Bao Zheng erasing the mark on the prince's hand and ordered him to stop. Bao Zheng immediately knelt down and explained the entire story to the emperor. The emperor found it hard to believe, so he ordered Bao Zheng to use the yin-yang pillow to travel to the underworld to investigate the truth. Using the yin-yang pillow, Bao Zheng descended into the underworld and uncovered the truth. It turned out that, in a previous life, a man had committed many evil deeds, creating sins and karmic obstacles. To atone for his sins, he was sentenced to endure 2 lifetimes of punishment. In the first life, he was crippled and lonely, and at the end of the second life, he was destined to die from a lightning strike. In both lives, he was born into poverty and suffering. However, to atone for his karma, he always did good for others without expecting anything in return. By repaying his karma and accumulating merit, upon his death, he was reincarnated as a prince, inheriting the blessings of the heavens. This is just one of the countless stories of reincarnation and karmic retribution. Let's step back from this story and explore its deeper meaning and what it signifies for our real lives. Buddhism speaks of the 6 realms of samsara: the realm of heaven, the realm of humans, the realm of asuras, the realm of hungry ghosts, the realm of animals, and the realm of hell. The Buddha collectively referred to all beings, with hell being the lowest and most painful realm, and heaven being the highest and most peaceful. Each being has its own youth and lifetime, so even the gods and humans are within the cycle of reincarnation. The only difference is that the beings of heaven are more intelligent than others. All beings continue to revolve within the 6 realms, subject to karma and retribution. If a person cannot cultivate themselves and uphold the path, their spirit will fall into the endless cycle of reincarnation, like a life filled with troubles. We are restless at birth, restless at death, and uncertain of where we go after we die. Therefore, the purpose of cultivation is to break free from the cycle of reincarnation, to release the turmoil within and the burden of life, and to attain freedom in both life and death. The root of reincarnation lies within us, and 2 forces drive us to escape from it: desire and perseverance. The Buddha taught that everyone has the capacity to save themselves, the ability to solve their own problems. This implies that every life has the potential for enlightenment. In reality, this potential for awareness is wisdom, not conventional wisdom, but rather an inner, boundless wisdom by which beings can transcend life and death. Now that we know the truth about life, where do we begin to cut off the 12 chains of karma? The answer is to start by eradicating ignorance. Extinguish ignorance at its roots, transforming it into light, into infinite illumination, into the wisdom of prajna, transcendent wisdom. Thus, the advice for all of us is to live kindly, do good deeds, help others, refrain from killing, meditate, and chant daily to soon be liberated from the cycle of reincarnation. One more point. Did you notice that both stories I mentioned above involve the symbol of a bridge? The bridge symbolizes the connection between the physical world and the spiritual world, the boundary between good and evil, and the threshold of failure and success. I hope that we can all stay firm on the path we have chosen, persist in living, working, and cultivating to cross the boundary of life and death, to break free from reincarnation, and to attain freedom.